channel tag of mine. Shout out to the homie Smurf.
Shout out to 357.
This Graffilthy pump action marker is. So typically when they buff this spot, they just paint over it. For what I'm told, this will bleed through that paint. So we'll probably check this out in a couple weeks, see how that goes. How's it going, guys? It's your boy Val here, and today we'll be reviewing the Graffilthy Vicious Violet pump action marker. So it's your typical pump action marker. So you can see I've already used it a little bit, but you know, like any marker, that's pump action. Get it going a bit, and let's just try on some glass first. Ooh, look at that, very deep color. Now they do have I think Blood Rain and a Black Plague marker. I think they're both alcohol based. This one might be also an alcohol based ink, not 100% sure. Didn't check through all the way. It does have a glass marble to mix up the ink. So if you ever have to go through a metal detector like I did one time, you're not gonna ring. So it should be good to take along on stadiums, and I'm not sure about airports and stuff. I've never actually flown before. But I guess I wouldn't recommend it for that, but you know, anything else. And I've got to say, I've already used this to catch about 30-40 tags at this point, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's very smooth, so you can tell the ink's very flowy. I pumped that up, so that's why there's a bit of drips here, but other than that, it's usually like this. I mean, no streaking, completely flawless, dries pretty fast. Like the last time I did that graffiti remover review, I didn't mind leaving some of this paint behind to see if it bleeds through. It looks like it might a little bit, but not a lot. But other than that, I mean, this is pretty nice. So like I said, this is I already tell you right now, guys, it's gonna have a probably 9.9 out of 10. Like there's no flaws to this thing. It really isn't. Smooth metal surface, this door. Now, from what I was told, this bleeds through the buff, which means if I buff it, this ink should still go through. Look at that. Look at that violet color. Just, and my name's Vile. I mean, ooh, this is just meant for me. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Are you seeing that? Now this is like a chrome paint, so that might have something to do with it. But that is pretty interesting. But that shit is kind of cool. It looks like it's been here for a while. Interesting, interesting. Also, the nib on this thing is pretty strong. It's not like a cloth nib. It's like a weird spongy material. I actually frayed it just a little bit. I'm not sure if you can see it. Just to kind of give it a bit more of a roundness to it, because I suck with chisel tip markers. I have no calligraphy skills whatsoever. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. That is interesting. Obviously, we have other metal surfaces we can tag on, brick surfaces, but this is a pretty interesting phenomenon. I don't think they make anything called buff-proof paint, but maybe they do for all I know. I doubt it, though. I've been coming up here for a long time. Very similar kind of paint. This is on concrete rather than steel, so let's see how this goes. Yeah, it's definitely the paint, whatever this is. This is pretty interesting, man. Because I've had paint markers, and they usually typically kind of go over it, but I also notice it kind of fades a bit. So I'm starting to think this is a special kind of paint, but also this is the first time I think I've reviewed an ink marker on my channel, so pretty neat. I mean, this thing does not fade on just about anything I've tagged on, so very, very interesting development here. Interview of anyone's TV channel, but at the same time, found some old weird tags. I mean, these things probably been here since, I don't know, 2016. Let's give it a try here. So you can tell on the glass nothing happened, but everything covered by that weird paint. It's like, whoa, kind of got absorbed fast, faded fast. This just looks normal. Ink's drying up, settling in. For that matter, this ink dries up really fast. Probably give it a couple minutes, you can just run your hand through it, no smearing, nothing. But we're also going to use the buff test on this while we're at it. Comparison, I'll be doing a review on Hue Brick paint. Now it isn't a Montana Street Dabber, but that's the only empty mop bottle they had at the shop I went to. But for comparison, ink, paint, let's see if this also fades, you know, just to see. See, the paint sticks on top of the paint, but it almost seems like the ink gets absorbed into the paint. I mean, you can still see it. I mean, oh man, look at that, look at that. I think this is a tag that got buffed a while back ago. You can kind of see that this is an E when I probably first started practicing this little hand style here. But yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. I mean, this thing gets buffed like every 3 months, but I had no idea whatever paint this is has these kind of properties. I mean, look at this. It looks like it's kind of like streaking a bit. That's pretty interesting, actually. Try it on a little ceramic tile. Good old Graffilthy. Like I said, I really like this marker a lot. I mean, like I said, 9.9 out of 10. I mean, it's so smooth to use. Like, you don't feel like anything is gonna streak. Sometimes you feel the nib might get caught on something. Like I said, it's not a cloth nib, so it just keeps going. You can write on brick with this thing, probably. Let's go look for some. This isn't necessarily brick. It is concrete, but it's somewhat similar, and it's pretty rugged, but not too rugged. But I also don't mind it, so I don't mind fraying my nib a little bit more. So, ooh, it's a little rough. Huh. Alright, I take that back. It's not as easy to write on rough surfaces as I thought. But, I don't know. I still like it. It still, like, bleeds through into the concrete. Now, in the meantime, then I'm gonna let this stuff dry. I'll probably give it like half an hour, maybe an hour. So I'm gonna have enough time to dry. I'm gonna be doing another paint review. I'll be doing Dang Prime. That'll probably come out like a couple weeks after I release this. I only have like 2 hours of the day to edit. I mean, 2 hours of the week to edit, so it's not even a long edit. It's just time consuming to upload and everything. So I'm just lazy about it. Is my point. But yeah, we're gonna have a few more products. Traditional style door. Homie Smur came here. Ivor sees one of their girlfriends. But to put this to the test, you want to rag somebody, you gotta do it good. Let's try with this tag up here. I don't think he'll care. Take a look at it. That silver's bleeding through a little bit. Now, if I remember right, I think this is a Grog silver paint mop. So I remember because I gave it to this guy. So he pulled up to the spot eventually at some point. And yeah, look, even though the silver kind of bled through just a little bit, it's not enough to like make it that obvious, you know. You can still see my tag over all these silver tags against this light blue background. So this is pretty good. You could bang people using this if you're in the beef, you know. Personally, I'm not, but yeah, I'm just not. I just don't really care to feud with people, man. I'm just out here having a good time. Time for the second part of the Graffilthy mop test, the buff test. Now, we're gonna start with this. You got some regular household white paint. And we're gonna see if this bleeds through. Did another review in the meantime. And, you know, had enough time for this stuff to dry out. Let's say you're the buff man, you're at work. Holy fuck, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. You're the buff man, you see it, it still fights the buff, it still bleeds through. Obviously it's not gonna be as beautiful as it was before, but you can still see it. Now every good buff man goes over it a couple times. You can barely make out what it says unless you're like me and you wrote it and you were here, so you know exactly what it says. But I mean, this is some powerful, powerful ink. And mind you, I don't know what this base paint is, so that already diluted it as it is. So the fact that I literally just went 2 layers and I can still see it. If I'm the buff man at this point, I'm going on to the next spot, because they don't pay me enough for this bullshit. Now let's go to these little metal door over here. Try to buff this up. I should, because you know this is the lab, but at least I have family that lives here, so some of the neighbors know me, so you know I don't want to. It's already bad enough kind of barge in here on my own anyway. This is fucking do graffiti. Yo, buffing it actually helped. Look at it, look at it, look at it. It's even more prominent now, bruh. I mean, I told you I love this marker, bro. It's fucking amazing. Like I said, 9.9 out of 9. I'm trying to buff this shit, you know, out of kindness, but it's not happening. Now let's try paint. Look at that. Look at that. It got even stronger after I tried buffing it. You saw how this thing faded. Now look at how strong it is. This is some fire shit. Reactions. This turned bronze somehow. Not sure you can see it. Let me try to cover it. It just looks bronzy. That's pretty cool. I expect that to happen. Let's get behind the satellite dish. Let's try to buff it. Somebody catches me trying to buff stuff, they're gonna be mad at me? No. I'm like, I tried buffing it. I don't know who did it, but you know, whatever they're using, I mean, this shit's strong, because look at that. Completely cover it, completely cover it, completely cover it. Ah, I had some paint on my hand. It's still bleeding through. This is wet paint. You would think it'd reactivate the pigments in the ink or something. It'd start getting droopy and mixy, but look at that. Look at that. Actually, let's try the brick. Let's try the brick. We'll come back to this. Not so much brick, but rather concrete. I definitely want to buff this because it's ugly. But it's like everything else I tried buffing. It is not going to work. So I will have to live with this ugliness. And that's a big lesson in life, guys. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. I don't think it's gonna come close, but if you do somehow manage to be perfect, you have to have make a lot of mistakes, like this tag, for example. And yeah. All right, so I'm noticing on concrete, the effect isn't as rapid, but it looks like it'll happen. I'm not gonna make you guys wait here and watch paint dry, so I'll probably come back up here tomorrow, take a few pictures, and post everything else. So last part of the bid, and rather concerning, tag I made completely faded. Although, look at this. I put so much paint on this, like there's probably like a 1 centimeter layer of paint, and whatever staining power this thing has, still fought that buff. And here's the door. still very visible. Like I said, it's probably been a couple weeks since I did these tags, so you know, weathering UV exposure. And here you are on this metal door, so you can tell fades a bit, but if you do happen to get buffed, I think that actually makes it stronger. So even though I like this marker and I like how it writes, if you're someone that likes having tags that last a long time, this probably isn't it. But if you're like me and you're constantly tagging stuff up, hitting spots to get buffed within a couple weeks, I mean, this is fun.